し制服は着替えたロケットの搭乗員あやがち夢中だと天使も悪くはないみたいだし目にした自由でまた自分探す怖いこんにちはこんにちは怖いこんにちはこんにちは怖いこんにちは
The story opened in the bustling beast city of 𝐸sūtēngai, where mystical creatures lived under the leadership of their wise and powerful Grand Master. He had ruled for many years, but recently he'd made a shocking announcement. He planned to retire and reincarnate as a god. Though he hadn't yet decided what kind of god he wanted to become, he had already set the wheels in motion to choose his successor. Among the beasts, two stood out as the most promising candidates. The first was Iozen, a highly disciplined and formidable warrior. The second was Kumatetsu, a rough-around-the-edges fighter who looked like a bear but moved with the agility of a monkey. His strength was immense, and he wielded a sword like a true master, though his volatile personality often made him difficult to deal with. Meanwhile, in present-day Tokyo, a young boy named Ren wandered alone through the city's chaotic streets. He eventually found refuge in a quiet alleyway. Through a flashback, it was revealed that Ren's mother had recently passed away, and with no father in sight, he was placed under the custody of distant relatives. However, Ren rejected the idea of forgetting his father, as they insisted, and ran away, consumed by grief and anger. Back in the alley where he'd taken shelter, Ren was suddenly approached by two cloaked figures. One of them, the larger one, began asking Ren personal questions about his parents. Ren, already agitated, lashed out at him. In response, the beast grabbed Ren's head and stared into his eyes, remarking that he liked the look he saw. The other cloaked figure, impatient, called the large one Kumatetsu, urging him to move on. But before they left, Kumatetsu turned to Ren and asked if he wanted to come with them. Without waiting for a response, they disappeared into the shadows. Curious and drawn to the strange beasts, Ren decided to follow them through a narrow alley. What began as a simple chase turned into a surreal journey, and before he knew it, Ren found himself in the beast realm, the city of 𝐸sūtēngai. The alley he'd come through vanished behind him, leaving him trapped in a world populated by animal-like beings. Terrified, he ran aimlessly through the city until a pig-faced monk named Hayakushibo found and calmed him down. The monk explained that humans and beasts existed in separate worlds and promised to help return Ren home. However, before they could leave, Kumatetsu appeared once again, boldly claiming Ren as his new apprentice. Hyakushibo objected, but a smaller monkey-faced beast named Tatara, who had been the second cloaked figure, joined the argument. Tatara explained that the Grand Master had tasked Kumatetsu with finding a disciple, but unlike Iozen, he struggled to attract one. On a trip to the human world, they'd found Ren and brought him here. Though hesitant, Hakushibo reluctantly agreed to let Ren stay. Ren followed Kumatetsu to his messy, run-down home. When Kumatetsu demanded to know his name, Ren refused, offering only his age, 9. Unbothered, Kumatetsu gave him a new name, Kyuta. The next morning, Tatara and Hyakushibo visited the house, only to find Ren and Kumatetsu bickering, this time over the horrifying idea of eating raw eggs for breakfast. The argument ended with Ren storming off into the city. While exploring, he met two young beasts, Jiromaru, a boar-faced boy, and Ichirohiko, who looked like a human child wearing a boar-themed cap. They were soon joined by their father, Iozen. Upon spotting Kumatetsu, Iozen immediately confronted him for bringing a human into the beast realm. He warned that darkness resided in human hearts, and it could one day consume them. The argument quickly escalated into a fight between the two contenders. A large crowd gathered, and it became clear that Iozen had the upper hand. As Ren watched the crowd cheer only for Iozen, he was reminded of his own isolation. Motivated by a sense of connection, he began cheering for Kumatetsu. Before the fight could go further, the Grand Master on a wise, elderly rabbit one appeared and stopped them. Despite Iozen's protests, the Grand Master allowed Kumatetsu to keep Ren as his disciple. Back at Kumatetsu's home, Ren agreed to become his apprentice if it meant becoming strong like him. To prove his resolve, he forced himself to eat the raw eggs he had earlier rejected. Kumatetsu, both surprised and pleased, promised to train him properly. However, their training sessions didn't go as planned. Kumatetsu turned out to be a terrible teacher, and the two argued constantly. When Kumatetsu left on a short trip, Hyakushubo took it upon himself to guide Ren. He gave the boy chores and helped him organize the messy home. But Ren soon encountered trouble in the city again, this time getting bullied by Jiromaru and his gang. Ichirohiko stepped in to protect him. Humiliated by the bullying, Ren vowed to get stronger. When Kumatetsu returned and mocked him for being weak, Ren snapped back, comparing him unfavorably to Iozan. Their relationship hit another rough patch, and Tatara pulled Kumatetsu away to cool off. Later, the Grandmaster handed Kumatetsu letters of introduction to other Grandmasters, encouraging him to learn from them. So, Kumatetsu, Ren, Tatara, and Hyakushubo set off on a journey. As they traveled from place to place, Kumatetsu and Ren trained together and learned various philosophies on what true strength meant. One evening, Hyakushubo revealed why Kumatetsu was such a poor teacher. He'd been raised without parents or a mentor, learning everything on his own. While it made him strong, it also made him a poor communicator. After their return, Ren had a vision of his mother, who encouraged him to become like Kumatetsu. Inspired, he began mimicking Kumatetsu's every move, learning his attack patterns. At first, Kumatetsu was annoyed, but after a talk with Hyakushubo, he embraced the idea. Ren's understanding of Kumatetsu's style grew so sharp that he could anticipate his every move. Ren proposed that he teach Kumatetsu how to be more predictable, if Kumatetsu would teach him how to properly fight. They began training each other. Years passed. Ren bested his bullies, earning Jiromaru's admiration. Even the Grand Master noted how much Kumatetsu had improved, admitting it was now hard to tell who was the teacher. Ren was now 17 and a strong fighter. One day, Ren accidentally found a way back to Tokyo. At a high school library, he met a girl named Kaide who helped him read books. After saving her from bullies, she offered to help him study, and they grew close. Ren became so passionate about learning that Kaide suggested he take the university entrance exams. While registering, Ren discovered his father's address. He visited him, and the emotional reunion ended with his father hugging him tightly. Ren later shared this with Kaide, wondering if a normal life was even possible. Back in the Beast World, Ren and Kumatetsu had a serious argument. Ren said he was done training, and he was strong enough now and wanted to return to the human world. Though Kumatetsu asked him not to go, Ren left anyway. However, his time in Tokyo wasn't peaceful. He argued with his father, got overwhelmed by guilt, and saw his inner darkness resurface. He fled to the library where Kaide was waiting. With her reassurance, he calmed down. Shortly after, Jiromaru informed him that the Grand Master was retiring, and the match between Kumatetsu and Iozan would take place the next day. As Ren rushed to find Kumatetsu, he was intercepted by Ichirohiko, who was also struggling with darkness. In the arena, the match began. Kumatetsu appeared distracted, giving Iozan the advantage. Ren arrived just in time, cheering him on and giving him the strength to fight back. Seeing this, Ichirohiko's bandages slipped, revealing that he never developed beast-like features like Jiromaru. Kumatetsu landed a powerful finishing blow and won the match, but the celebration was cut short when Ichirohiko launched a sword into his back. Ren's darkness surged once again, and he retaliated with his own telekinetic attack. But before the sword struck, he regained control. Ichirohiko, however, succumbed to his darkness and vanished, vowing never to forgive Ren. While Kumatetsu lay in the hospital, the Grand Master confronted Iozan, who confessed that Ichirohiko was a human baby he'd adopted. He had hidden the truth from him, leading Ichirohiko to despair. The Grand Master explained that only by confronting this darkness could they save him. Ren, having overheard everything, returned to Tokyo and found Kaide. He thanked her and said he might not survive the battle ahead. Suddenly, Ichirohiko attacked them in Shibuya. With innocent lives at stake, Ren fled with Kaide. On the subway, Kaede confessed her feelings and said being with Ren motivated her to study. Meanwhile, the beast world began crumbling due to the chaos in the human world. Kumatetsu, despite his injuries, asked the Grand Master to let him reincarnate as a god, to become the missing piece in Ren's heart. In a final confrontation, Ren and Kaede were cornered by Ichirohiko. As Ren prepared to absorb Ichirohiko's darkness, a divine sword fell from the sky, calling his name. It was Kumatetsu, now reborn within the sword. It entered Ren's heart, empowering him with newfound strength. Guided by Kumatetsu's voice, Ren defeated the darkness without harming Ichirohiko. The boy awoke in his bed, surrounded by family with no memory of what had happened. Ren, now bonded with Kumatetsu forever, was celebrated in the beast world, with even Kaede attending. She asked if he'd still take the university exams. Smiling, Ren said yes. Later, Ren returned home to his father's apartment, where they reconciled and began a new chapter together as he studied for the university entrance exams. And with that said, thanks for watching. And until next time.